Long ago, in a land of sprawling islands and vast trade routes, swords were not just tools of war, they were the bearers of a nation's spirit. Forged in the fires of necessity and artistry, blades like the San Bartolome Bolo and machete became symbols of survival, rebellion, and cultural identity. These weapons were wielded by warriors, from nameless defenders of villages to the brave Katipuneros who stood against Spanish colonialism and the cry of volunteer. In the pre-colonial Philippines, swordsmithing or Pandayan was not merely a craft. It was a legacy passed down from one generation to another. The term Panday comes from the Malay word for craftsman or smith, signifying the importance of their role in society. Through their work, Pandays shaped more than just metal. They shape stories, communities, and identities. The bolo, with its versatile blade, represented both survival and resistance, serving as both a farming tool and a weapon for revolution. The machete, known for its reliable edge, became indispensable in clearing paths through dense jungle and defending homes. As time progressed, Filipino blacksmiths developed other essential tools: the sundang for everyday tasks, the talibong for heavy clearing, and the pinuti for ceremonial occasions. These blades were not just tools, they were masterpieces, each one telling the story of its maker and its bearer's struggle for freedom. Swordsmithing in the Philippines predates colonization. The art traces back to ancient Panday like Panday Kira, the legendary 16th century master blacksmith of Manila who served under Raja Sulaiman. His forge created weapons that defended Maynila from invaders, and his techniques were passed down through generations. Later smiths would create blades with distinctive pommel patterns, intricate waves of metal that emerged during the folding process. They would etch talismanic characters called the tinganting near the handle, believed to grant the wielder protection in battle. Some blades bore the sacred Sambaghita flower design on their crossguard, while others featured serpentine patterns that paid homage to the ancient beliefs of our ancestors. These weren't merely decorative choices. Each mark told the story of our people's spiritual connection to the blade. While Japanese swordsmiths craft their katanas in climate-controlled workshops, our Panday continues their craft in humble forges, from the metal workshops of Mikawayan to the mountain smithies of Mindanao. Their methods, passed down through generations since Panday Pira's time, blend necessity with artistry. Yet these master craftsmen, whose work once armed revolutions, now struggle to keep their forges lit. In every blade, you'll find stories. In the palmer patterns that ripple like Mindanao's rivers, in the unting symbols that speak of ancient beliefs, in the very techniques that survived centuries of colonial rule. Through Tatay Amado's hands, we see a living link to our past, preserving an art that connects us to who we were and perhaps who we still are. In Kawit, Cavite, where the first Philippine flag was unfurled in 1898. The land tells as many stories as its people. These streets, now lined with houses, were once part of sprawling Kapatagan, fertile plains that stretch through neighboring cities like Imus, where farmers worked the soil with tools forged by local Pandayas. When Tatay Amado arrived in Cavite as a construction worker, these plains were still alive with farmers. Though he carried the bloodline of Visayan blacksmiths from Leyte, it was Cavite's agricultural needs that shaped his craft. In 1989, he began apprenticing under his uncle, learning to create the specific tools needed for the region's fertile lands.
Yung rason, bakit ito po yung naging craft nyo bilang
Ito, na kaibigan?
Apo.
Kasi naman nung araw, ang trabaho ko talaga nung araw, construction, palibasa nga kasi kung walang pinag-aralan, grade 3 lamang kundi para tapos yung grade 3. Ganun sa Bisaya, at tapos, ang tiyuhin ko, yun ang trabaho na talaga magpanday. So, ang ginawa ko, habang nagtatrabaho sa Perto Atol ng construction, na-sideline ako magparo sa Mahador. Hanggang sa natutunan ko, sa puwatagal natutunan ko. Tsaka habang napapalo ako, iniisip ko sa sarili ko na balang araw mapapakinabangan ko ito.
While urban development has transformed much of Cavite's landscape, Pandayan ni Amado preserves the relationship between smith and farmer that once defined these plains. Each blade that leaves his forge carries both his Visayan heritage and the practical wisdom earned from decades of serving Cavite's agricultural community, a living link to when the rhythm of hammers matched the seasons of planting and harvest. The story of Philippine Pandayan should not be ending. It should be evolving. While machines stamp out mass-produced tools in factories, these master smiths create something machines cannot. Blades that carry our stories, our symbols, and our survival. In Kawit's annual Kalayaan Festival, while we celebrate our independence, there's an opportunity to showcase Pandayan as more than history, but as a living heritage. By featuring master smiths like Tatay Amado in cultural celebrations, we create spaces where tradition meets tourism, where craft meets commerce. Cavite's cultural tourism shouldn't just be about old houses and battle sites. It should also be about living traditions like Pandayan. By including these craftsmen in our heritage tours, we're not just preserving history, we're creating sustainable livelihoods. The path forward is clear. Through these initiatives, we can ensure that Pandayan as a Philippine art doesn't just survive, but thrives. Each blade forged becomes not just a tool or an artwork, but a link in a chain stretching from our past into our future.
Ako pala si Amado, taga Kawit. Ako yung nagpapanday. Kung sakali man sa mga naghahanap ng kitakbo, bibili. Dito lang po ako tatagpuan sa likod ng Tirona High School. Ayun po. Maraming salamat. Kung mapapansin niyo kami, salamat kasi talagang yung amin yan.
Sa Diyos ang sandat at gabay.